Coming up on GWeek, we take you into a town hall event to talk about the GW Moniker name change referendum and hear what SA senators have to say about the movement.
And this month is Women's History Month. We discuss the importance of the celebration with the GW community.
And finally, GWeek reporter Brooke Witherford gives us the lowdown on the exciting Student Association elections. And following that, GWeek correspondent Devin Link sits down with runoff candidate S.J. Matthews.
All this and more here on GWeek.
Welcome to the show. I'm Vruti Venkatesan.
And I'm Ethan Evers. Last week's Student Association ballot included a referendum to change GW's student moniker, the Colonial, which passed with 54% of the vote. The vote itself is non-binding, but is designed to gauge student opinion on the name change. Reporter Michael Beans visited a town hall on the issue before the big vote.
Last Monday, the Student Association hosted a town hall in the Marvin Center concerning the Colonial name change referendum. The debate has divided students over the past year, and here is a chance to have both sides heard before voting on Thursday. The town hall was an information session concerning the Colonial Moniker referendum. The Colonial Moniker referendum is a ballot measure introduced into the SA election ballot designed to gauge student opinion on whether the moniker Colonials should be changed to something else. Many students support a change, believing the name is offensive and doesn't represent the student body.
It's a pretty bad name to associate with people because it brings up, ideas of genocide and, mass displacement. And even if your thoughts on what came out of colonization, it's still not a really good name because the act is not the most beautiful thing in the world.
But this opinion isn't universal. Some are indifferent or don't want the name changed.
To me personally, the name doesn't hold anything to me personally, but I've heard from other students, and it sounds like a lot of students do find offense in the Colonial's name, and so that's something we should take into consideration. We should have this open discussion about, if so many students are uncomfortable with it, that's a problem, because school should be an environment that everyone feels safe and comfortable to be in.
Personally, I'm against it because when I think of the term colonial, I usually think of the people that George Washington commanded that freed us from British oppression, more than I think of people who colonized the New World and who stole the New World from Native Americans, what have you.
Ultimately, the referendum passed with 54% of the votes in favor of changing the name. The referendum is non-binding, but will allow the SA to put more pressure on the university's administration to implement a name change. This is Michael Beans reporting for GWeek.
GW students launched the Foggy Bottom Plan B initiative to provide free emergency contraceptive pills. To receive the pill, students can email the group and schedule a time and place to meet. All information is completely anonymous. The group has no affiliation with the university and is volunteer-run and based on donations. Emergency contraception is sold at CVS for around $60 per pill and is not available at the Colonial Health Center. This initiative is similar to others in the DC area, such as Georgetown University and George Mason University.
As the 2019 student election wraps up, let's take a look at the candidates who ran for president and executive vice president. GWeek reporter Brooke Witherford is here to break it down for you. Brooke?
Thanks, Ethan. This year's presidential candidates included Nicole Cennamo, S.J. Matthews, Shantorian Underwood, and late addition Justin Diamond. After no presidential candidate achieved the mandatory 40% majority on Thursday night, the race is continuing in a runoff election between S.J. Matthews, who gained 25% majority, and Justin Diamond, who gained 27%. Nicole Cennamo is the sophomore and SA's Vice President of Academic Affairs from New Fairfield, Connecticut. She ran to prioritize students and catalyze change she believes GW deserves. Nicole says the biggest struggle for her campaign was encouraging students to vote. Shantorian is a sophomore and current SA senator from South Tampa, Florida. Shantorian hasn't returned GWeek's request for comment. S.J. Matthews is a junior from Chatham, New Jersey, and the current president of the Resident Hall Association. She is running to build a GW for all and create a community where everyone feels welcome and supported. S.J. says her campaign's biggest struggle has been energizing students for the SA election. Presidential candidates were thrown a curveball last Tuesday when freshman Justin Diamond announced his write-in campaign for the presidency. Diamond vows to reallocate the $15,000 presidential stipend to student organizations and abolish the SA. His short campaign has included a Facebook live stream in GW's meme page and 2 rallies in Kogan Plaza on Tuesday and Wednesday, where he played songs such as the Fight Song and Despacito on his accordion for 6 hours. GWeek reporter Kate Waters caught up with him during the Whirlwind campaign. Take a look.
I'm playing the GW Fight Song on repeat with some other songs sprinkled in between it as to not annoy the locals. But I'm out here trying to garner support for my write-in campaign for SA President.
Since announcing his candidacy on March 25th, Justin Diamond has taken over the GW Meme Facebook group.
I feel like although the memes are being used to spread word of my campaign, I don't consider myself to be a meme candidate. I consider my candidacy to be very, very real, and I want people to know that. Despite using memes to spread the word, I think my message is strong and clear, and I think that people agree that the SA is too political of an institution. There's too much infighting with regards to things like BDS and the funding of such student organizations. And despite the memes being my primary source of popularity on campus, I think that everyone would agree that the SA needs to be improved or abolished in and of itself. Hopefully I garner enough support to show that the student body isn't a fan of stipends being given to club organization leaders and that they'd prefer if that money went to organizations themselves. Abolishing the SA would look like student organizations applying directly to GW for their financing instead of applying to the SA as a middleman, which I think is a wasteful institution. I believe that giving stipends to leaders of organizations who would fulfill the role anyway is a waste of GW resources, and that could very much go to student organizations themselves. As a member of RHA, 1/5 of our budget, $6,000 to be precise, goes to a presidential stipend which could otherwise be spent on halls and their improvement. If I don't win, I would encourage the winning presidential candidate to renounce their own presidential stipend.
For GWeek, I'm Kate Waters.
Thanks, Kate. This year's EVP candidates were Amy Martin and Quentin McHoes. Amy won with a 46% majority. Amy is a sophomore and a current SA senator from Portland, Oregon. She ran to create and enforce initiatives to better the GW community. She says the biggest struggle for her campaign has been managing her current senatorial responsibilities on top of her campaign's demands. Quentin is a junior and currently does not hold an SA position. Last semester, Quentin transferred to GW from Northwest College in Wyoming, where he served on the Student Senate. He ran to better represent a diverse student body and improve the SA legislature. Quentin says his campaign's biggest struggles was speaking with as many students as possible. Back to you guys.
So the story behind Justin Diamond, I think it's really interesting because he had a write-in campaign. No one really knew about him until like last week, and he kind of just showed up out of the blue playing his accordion in Kogan Plaza one day.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how much traction his campaign has gotten in like 1 week's time. Like, I don't know, last week no one had heard of Justin Diamond at all, and now he's basically a school-wide celebrity. It's really interesting how it's developed. What do you think?
Yeah, our meme page is totally blowing up. I think that's the best way to reach student body at GW.
Absolutely.
I think what's interesting is that he is the things that he's hitting on his platform are things that a lot of students feel on this campus. Like he pledged to, I think, abolish the SA, was it? And it's like, so a lot of students don't care about the SA. A lot of students think the SA is useless. So for that, not majority, but for that like section of students or percentage of students who are like, yeah, you know what, like I don't like the SA, he's really, he's tapping into that.
Yeah, and a major part of his platform, I believe, was to take a lot of money and allocate it towards more student orgs, which is what most of the student body is involved in. And I think students have a lot more say in that sort of thing instead of the SA, where only a select group of people.
Well, not only just any money, he's taking his presidential stipend, which
Exactly.
I think is $15,000 or $20,000, and he's just putting it towards the university and thinks he can do more good that way, which is, it's different. It's different than anything we've seen in the campaign.
He's definitely shaking up the political sphere here at the school.
Yeah, and it's funny because now we can't say that we finally had an SA election with no surprises.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess we're keeping up the trend. Coming up, GWeek correspondent Devin Link will be here later to discuss the runoff election with presidential candidate S.J. Matthews. Stay with us. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, ready?
Let's go.
Welcome.
Wait, do you want me to go or?
I thought I was going.
No,
No, you go. You go.
Sean and Michael want
well,
you guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Welcome to GW.
I thought I was supposed to start.
I thought I was going to go first.
I thought.
There we go. Here comes Parker.
Come on, guys. It's not that hard, all right? It's just one line. All right. You guys know the line.
Welcome to GWTV.
You can visit us at gw-tv.com.
See, that wasn't so bad.
Welcome back to the show. The U.S. House of Representatives failed to override President Trump's veto on Tuesday, leaving the president's national emergency intact. This comes after months of bipartisan backlash against Trump for using his executive power to declare a national emergency at the southern border. Ultimately, 14 House Republicans backed the Democrats' push to override Trump's veto, leaving House Democrats to find alternative ways to halt the declaration.
Special counsel Robert Mueller recently wrapped up his 2-year investigation regarding Russian interference and campaign collusion in the 2016 election. Attorney General William Barr delivered a 4-page summary to Congress offering what he called the, quote, principal conclusions, unquote, of the final report. While the report did not find any collusion between President Trump and the Russian government, it did not fully exonerate the president, according to Robert Mueller. Though President Trump has already claimed total exoneration, congressional Democrats are calling on Barr to release the full report for further examination.
March is Women's History Month, and reporter Kate Waters sat down to investigate the origins of the celebration and to hear why this month is important to students.
In honor of Women's History Month, I spoke with students about the importance of the month and the lack of awareness surrounding its origins.
I think Women's History Month is important, and it's important to have Women's History Month because women have struggled through history to gain things like suffrage and equal rights, and it's important to remember that struggle.
I think that Women's History Month is important because it's important for women's voices to be heard in the context of history, because so often we only hear one story within the historical context, so I think it's really important to have women represented in that.
While students expressed why they think the month is significant, many didn't know the origins of Women's History Month.
Not really. I don't know the origins of Women's History Month.
I don't think so.
According to Time magazine, the celebration of Women's History Month began in Santa Rosa, California, with a week-long celebration that coincided with International Women's Day on March 8th. Women across the nation took it upon themselves to bring Women's History Week into classrooms and communities. In 1980, Jimmy Carter was the first president to declare a National Women's History Week. Ronald Reagan followed suit, and subsequent presidents continued to proclaim a National Women's History Week until 1987, when Congress passed legislation designating March as Women's History Month. Even though they were not aware of the origins of the month, students acknowledged its significance in showcasing women's contributions throughout history. For GWeek, I'm Kate Waters.
Thanks, Kate. DC police recorded a 20% increase in the use of police force during 2018. A reported 87% was during takedowns and control holds while placing the perpetrator under arrest. Overall, the district has seen a decline in violent crimes committed. However, the homicide rate has increased by nearly 40%.
Empire actor Jussie Smollett's 16 felony charges have been dropped following the allegations that he faked the attack on himself. In January, Smollett reported that 2 masked men shouted racial and anti-gay slurs, that beat him and looped a rope around his neck and poured bleach on him. While prosecutors say they believe Smollett planned the attack, they have not explained why the charges have been dropped. This decision comes on the terms of Smollett completing 2 days of community service and forfeiting his $10,000 bond to the city.
This is a whitewash of justice. A grand jury could not have been clearer. To then say not only is the cost, the $10,000 doesn't come cost financially, but all the other repercussions of this decision it made, to me, where is the accountability in the system?
Hey there, Unstoppable fans, coming at you now with a special message. If you didn't catch our last show, you may not be aware, but my longtime co-anchor Cole Anschustige has decided to move on to bigger and better things in the medical field. We'd like to thank him for his longtime service, but never fear. As you can see, I've got my new co-anchor Isabel standing next to me here, who we think is going to bring a different flair to the show.
Thanks, Sean. Make sure to check out our show coming up later this March.
I'm joined now by S.J. Matthews, the current RHA president and SA presidential candidate who will be continuing into the runoff election. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get right into it.
Yeah.
So what does this runoff mean for the election? What's the next steps?
It means the election's going to go on for another 10 days.
Wow.
So campaigning rules are still on the table. We can still poster. We can still talk to people. It's really exciting. I've actually really enjoyed campaigning, so it's going to be fun to continue it for another 10 days. I'm excited to be considered in the runoff.
All right, great. So what was your reaction when you heard the results last night?
I won't lie, we were kind of expecting it. Based on communication with the JEC about how they were counting votes, it made sense that it could potentially be a runoff. I was really excited to be in it. That was like my first reaction was happiness, a little stress. But yeah, we all reacted pretty positively. I think it's gonna be good. I've got a really good team behind me.
So this is definitely an informal campaign season if we've ever seen one. So what are you going to change about your campaign tactics to, address the new rising?
Maybe I should start making memes.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Any ideas about what you may be doing?
Trinity's trying her best. Yeah, no, I'm going to continue what I've been doing. I'm going to continue meeting with people, hearing their experiences, showing them I am a true advocate for the student body. I want to improve the student experience. I have a lot of leadership experience to back myself up. But I think I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing, reaching out to people, making connections.
So when Justin Diamond announced that he would be starting this write-in campaign on Tuesday, what was your reaction?
I thought he had a lot of gumption to do that. I was impressed. It takes a lot to put yourself out there. I was kind of surprised that it took off as much as it did. Like, he's running to abolish the SA. Like, we should talk about that.
What would that mean for the student body?
I think it'd be terrible for the student body. I think the Student Association is not effective right now, but I think it can be effective. I think with the right leaders, it can do a lot of good. And the administration wants to help us, but you need a true advocate in that office. I think it would hurt us. We need our voice to be heard.
So how are you prepared to step up and be that advocate?
I'm prepared to step up. I already know all the administrators from RHA, which I think will help. I'm excited to continue those relationships. I have a lot of good ideas that are very feasible. I actually believe I can get a lot of things done quickly. And I want to hear students. I want to hear what their problems are on campus and how I can fix them. And I want to truly be an advocate.
All right, great. So aside from the other candidates, why do you think you would be the best SA president?
I think I am an outsider, but I'm not. Right? I have a lot of leadership experience on campus. I've been involved. I'm in multiple organizations, but I've also never been in the SA. I think I bring a new perspective. And I truly love GW. I applied here early decision. I always say I knew I liked GW when I toured Foggy Bottom. I knew I loved it when I went to Laverne, ironically enough. And I want to serve this school.
When did you decide this was something you wanted to do for GW?
Way back in my freshman year, I kind of always thought I would do it. I knew I couldn't live with myself if I didn't try. Truthfully, probably as a freshman, if you would have told me I would have been in a runoff and I would have made it this far, I would have laughed. And so I'm really proud of myself and what I've been able to do in my 3 years here.
If that freshman you did see yourself today, what do you think she would say?
She'd be excited. She'd be proud.
That's nice. So how have students been reacting to your campaign?
They've been excited. I've been getting a lot of messages from people of support, saying they're sorry, like this is happening, that I'm running against a meme. But people have been generally receptive, and I think that's going to help in the polls.
How have students been reacting to the recent news, and even before the results last night, how have students been reacting?
I got a lot of texts from people saying, I'm stressed. I think you're stressed too, but I'm stressed. I'm like, we're all stressed, but I think it's going to be good. We're all going to rally together, and you know what? 10 more fun days.
Absolutely. So what would you like to say to the student body now that this runoff has been announced?
Elections matter. Your voice matters. Your voice always should matter, and I hope you vote for the person who's going to help you. I hope you vote for the person who's going to advocate for you. And we need a student association. As much as we like to make fun of it and say it's not effective, we need it. It's an important part of this campus community. It's an important part of making our university better, and we need to utilize that tool.
What do you think would happen if you were to lose the election and Justin were to win?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't think it would be great for the student body. I think we need a student association. I think if your platform is to abolish it, that's not good. But I'd have hope that people would rally behind him and they would help him, because we need it.
Would you be willing to rally behind Justin if he did turn out as the winner in this election?
I would. I want what's best for GW.
And if you could change one thing at GW, if you were to win the election, what would you want your impact to be?
I want to build community. I want people to actually feel like they enjoy their time here. I want to create dialogue. I want to start discussions. I want to bring people together.
So how specifically do you plan to do that?
The first thing I want to do is get TAP access for all students. That's something I did as RHA president this year with first years. Currently, it's only on-campus students. I want to expand that to commuters as well. I think that would take down a lot of unnecessary barriers when it comes to creating community. People can go see each other. I want to build more community spaces across campus. The biggest thing, though, if I could only accomplish one thing, it would be to make the essay more transparent. I want students to feel like, again, their voice matters. I want them to feel comfortable talking to their elected representatives. I want them to feel comfortable coming to the essay with both good things and bad, and I want them to be involved.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today. We really
Thank you for having me.
appreciate it. Well, we would love to see what happens in the next few days.
Yes,
And we know
me
we'll
too.
all be watching.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
Oh my gosh, Izzy.
Michael, what's wrong?
Trump just tweeted again. I guess we're gonna have to debate about it. This is Colonial Crossfire.
Welcome back to the show, but also welcome to new faces that will be joining us on campus next year. GW received over 27,000 applications for the class of 2023. This is the second time this has happened in the university's history. GW admitted about 11,000 students total to the incoming class, including roughly 900 students through the early decision plan. The university has been making improvements to their new student programs, such as a remodeled new student orientation and 14 days of Inside GW, a program that integrates students with other students, staff, and administrators.
President LeBlanc announced plans for renovating the notorious freshman hall, Thurston, with hopes to have the project finished by fall of 2022. Reporter Jessica Nix has the latest on why these renovations are necessary and what's in store for the future of Thurston Hall.
At 91 years old, GW's largest residence hall, Thurston, is also one of GW's oldest residence halls. This has led to a lot of poor conditions in rooms, including mold.
I think we do have mold in our bathroom. I'm not quite sure, but I feel like I've seen it before. The lighting in my room is not great at all, and the temperature is also not great.
President LeBlanc has announced a plan to renovate the residence hall starting this year and hopes to include new amenities like common meeting areas and updated furniture.
It's kind of a mess right now, just the building in general, so the fact that it's your first year here and you're immediately kind of put in this building where things are kind of falling apart, I think it will greatly improve the experience.
LeBlanc also hopes to foster community through these renovations. For now, rising freshmen will most likely be placed in traditionally sophomore or upperclassmen halls, with upperclassmen moving to either One Washington Circle Hotel or Aston Hall.
Currently, the project will finish between 2021 and fall 2022. For GWeek, I'm Jessica Nix.
Thanks, Jessica. GW students, fans, and alumni are excited about the bright and hopeful future of the men's basketball team. Coach Jamian Christian was hired on March 21st and immediately took over by leading a pre-dawn workout. Before heading to DC, Christian was coaching at Mount St. Mary's and Siena College. He holds 2 Northeast Conference championships and NEC Coach of the Year award. For more, check out this story on Unstoppable's next episode.
GW announced on Monday that this year's commencement speaker will be Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Guthrie has co-hosted the show since July of 2012 and first joined NBC in 2007 as a legal analyst and correspondent. Commencement will be held on the National Mall on May 19th. We'll be right back.
Sup? If you like what you see, log on to GW-TV.com and all your dreams will come true, assuming your dreams are to watch more GW TV episodes. Hey, if you like what you see, log on to GW-TV.com and catch all the latest episodes of your favorite GW TV shows. You'll also be my favorite person in the entire world. It's a good move. Hey, if you like what you see, log on to GW-TV.com. You're in college and it's free. You're welcome. I'm Hannah Sessler, and you can watch District Debrief right here every day on GW TV.
Welcome back. DC's famous cherry blossoms are predicted to be in peak bloom on Monday, April 1st. Once in bloom, the flowers will last anywhere from 4 to 10 days. The DC area will celebrate with the annual Cherry Blossom Festival, including events such as the Blossom Kite Festival on March 30th and the Petalpalooza on April 6th.
The Raphael Lozano Hemmer Pulse exhibit is on display at the Hirshhorn Museum. The interactive exhibit enables visitors to help create sequences of flashing lights, rippling waves with a touch of their fingertips. Trisha Katsamakis has the story.
Hi, I'm Trisha Katsamakis with GWeek here at the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden to check out the Pulse exhibit and how interactive art is being shown here at the Hirshhorn. The Pulse exhibit has been on view since November 1st of 2018 and will be open until April 28th of 2019. This is the Hirshhorn's largest interactive technology exhibition to date, with 3 major installations from the Mexican-Canadian artist Rafael Lozano Hemmer. His Pulse series comes together to fill the entire second level of the museum.
I'm really excited. I haven't seen much interactive art before, so I'm excited. You know, there's a lot of installation art here, but not much that really connects to the viewer.
I think it's really cool that the biosensory aspect of the exhibit is showcasing all of the viewers, and it's a really great way to get people together and watch art.
The immersive experience uses heart rate sensors to create kinetic and audio-visual experiences from visitors' own biometric data.
When I first saw it, I thought it was going to be more interactive with sort of the pulse of a larger body of people, but then it was more towards just the one person at a time. I think when someone gets to interact with art, it becomes a more vulnerable process in which they become a part of the art piece, and they can sort of see that art is about experiencing it creatively as well as the creation of the piece itself.
Reporting for GWeek, I'm Trisha Katsamakis.
Thanks, Trisha. In January, news broke that the museum will be closing its doors after Johns Hopkins University completed a deal to acquire the building for upwards of $300 million. Reporter Michael Schnell visited the museum to learn the details.
On December 31st, the museum will close its doors to the public, ending an 11-year run of educating the city on the First Amendment and advocating for a free press. The building, located in the heart of D.C. on Pennsylvania Avenue, was bought by Johns Hopkins University for $372.5 million. Freedom Forum, the creator and primary funder of the museum, underwent a strategic review of its funding priorities to determine how to best run the museum financially. It was during that 16th-month review when officials determined that selling the building would best allow the organization to, quote, continue their First Amendment-based mission. Since its opening in 2008, Freedom Forum, an organization dedicated to free press, free speech, and free spirit for all, has put $600 million into building and funding the museum. Jan Newharth, chair and CEO of the Freedom Forum, commented on the news in a statement saying, quote, this was a difficult decision, but it was the responsible one. We remain committed to continuing our programs in a financially sustainable way, to champion the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment, and to increase public awareness about the importance of a free and fair press. The organization will now search for a new home for the museum, according to Newharth. As for the university, they plan to use the new building to house graduate studies. The School of Advanced International Studies will move to the new location, as well as other business, nursing, and arts and sciences programs. The university praised the deal in a statement, saying, quote, acquiring this iconic property in the heart of the nation's capital will represent a transformative moment for Johns Hopkins University and place our research and expertise in the midst of national and global decision-making. A big question now being asked, how will Johns Hopkins foot this very expensive bill? Well, according to the university, a large amount of funding will come from a gift from 1964 alum Michael Bloomberg. The amount of the former New York mayor's donation was not disclosed. Be sure to check out the museum to see its very interesting and informative exhibits before it closes its doors in December. For GWeek, I'm Michael Schnell.
Well, that's the end of our show. Thanks for watching. For more GWeek, you can catch us online at gw-tv.com. You can also check us out on any of the social media you see below.
And remember, GWeek is always looking for more journalists to join our show, and we are an equal opportunity organization. If interested, please email gwtelevision@gmail.com. That's all for this episode, and like always, we'll see you around campus.